Especially when they're really cute like you. We really welcome that kind of.
a chair?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, where were we? Where were we?
Well, I was asking you if it is protecting the taxpayer when you forcefully take his money in order to give it to somebody for health services like Medicare.
Here's the key word.
Is that protecting?
I'm not gonna take the bait on protecting.
You don't want to. What do you mean by
service.
when this
Smile,
word?
1, 2. You smile as well. 1, 2, 3.
What
Good?
do you mean by protecting?
Well,
I mean preventing the forceful
Not
extraction.
everything has to be about protecting. Sometimes it's benefit.
But you said that the government should do that, should protect the peaceful
no, I didn't
people.
say that. You said that.
In the beginning, you said
that
the government should.
You were raising different scenarios.
said.
I don't know how to tell you this, but not every scenario applies to every single instance.
Well, that's true.
But
the thing is that I asked you whether the government should protect peaceful citizens against
you're
people.
not going to get away with this.
No?
We're going to be here for 3 days. 3 days, and you will not get away with it.
See, you know why I like you? Because you're not Alan Combs.
Well, I'm definitely not Alan Combs.
I interviewed Alan Combs.
So much, I get dizzy looking at him. Okay? I really do.
He gets that a lot.
Well, let me get to the moral underpinning of this issue.
I enjoy watching you on Fox.
I appreciate that. I really do.
You present, at least you try to present some facts.
I always try
and
and
you do a good job
present
trying to
facts.
back them up. But the one thing I really, really like about you, you're extremely polite and you're funny. You're down to earth.
Well, let's give him his due. Here's what
You know, these are all my friends.
Yeah.
Let me tell you why I admire you.
I'm going to tell her something, but don't put it on
we won't
microphone.
put it in the
I don't want to
microphone.
hurt someone's career. My two best friends in New York.
I know you are, baby.
Yeah.
And Shannon.
Yeah, see?
Okay.
You don't pick your friends.
Okay, but here is why I admire you,
And there's
Rick.
probably
I'm gonna tell you.
You're trying to whip me. What do you mean?
I am whipping you, but I still
You are
admire
not
you.
whipping me. You're trying to whip me.
He's not letting it go, okay?
I admire
I
you.
need to know where to
Let
find
me-
you. Huntington News.
Okay.
Can I
Okay.
say, and this is going to be off the air, of course, but I'm a producer for Right Hook Radio.
Oh, you are?
On 1450 W. This is the host, Steve Hook.
Hey, Steve. How you
So,
doing,
Rick,
man?
we would love to have you on the show.
The electric
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
getting my
I'm
ass
sorry.
whipped around here a little bit.
Oh,
So-
This.
See,
Oh,
yeah.
you know,
Okay, well, Rick, can I give you the compliment?
You know what yeah, in a second. You know what my granddaughter
Rick
calls
says the
this?
compliments.
Grandpa's pacifier.
yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay, now you
Okay,
can do it.
Here's the compliment. It takes courage to take on 3 or 4 people that oppose your view, and you do that very calmly
He does.
and rationally, and for that I admire you.
I'm not a hater. I just don't get the
Well,
whole
no,
thing.
you're also somebody that's willing to take on the odds.
I do.
It's not easy to argue
Actually,
with 4 people or 3
honest to
people at the
God,
same time,
That's
right?
right.
So that's why I
And
admire you.
with a
Really
smile
not
on
that
your,
hard.
you know, the smile
Okay.
you have on your
I
face
just
is
don't get
genuine,
angry,
though.
you know?
It's not patronizing. It's
No.
not condescending.
Although, you know, it's an interesting
But let's
comment.
get back to our interview, can we?
When people who don't like me on TV, people who don't like me on TV send Twitter saying, "Wipe that smug look off your
No,
face."
you don't have
Oh,
to.
That's
no.
how they interpret a
No,
smile.
no.
And
no,
anyway,
no.
Because they don't wanna
You
like
can't have a sound
Most
position
liberals
unless you
have
hear
this-
the...
a smug look on their face. Now, there's a woman that I don't know her name. You know, even before she gets her chance to speak, she has this very condescending
Yeah.
smirk on her face. Like, you know, let the person talk.
Oh, that's right.
You know, let the person finish their point. And you know, you're here taking your time with me.
With
You don't
respect.
Know me. You don't know me. You said pull in
That's how
a
you-
chair
that's how you make friends,
This is the
you
kind
know.
of
Right.
character that you have.
I just don't get the whole other way. I mean, you
And
may
now-
be the nicest person I ever meet.
And now,
Why would I not want to?
That's called
Can I
friendliness.
convert you now?
To what?
Can I hanatize you?
Oh, hanatize me.
Yeah. Can I
The real
convert
guy
you?
tries to do it every day.
Yeah. Can I McGlinnitize you? I'm Ann McGlynn. Can I Right Hook Radio-atize you?
What would I do for a living then?
You would go to the other side.
Nobody would
'Cause
care.
you know what?
Nobody needs another old white conservative. And NBC doesn't need an old white liberal.
Yes.
So, you know?
Okay, so
You're great.
here's the moral issue
Okay.
involved. Is it morally wrong to initiate physical force against someone who hasn't violated anybody's rights?
See, we keep disagreeing on the terms you choose. Of
Which term?
physical force.
But you agreed
Nobody
that the
is-
taxes were forceful.
but they're not physically
that's
forceful.
totally-
Well, if you don't
What
follow
happens
the
if-
law,
what happens? That's gonna be
they
my
will
question.
put you in jail
No, they
or
will not.
fine you.
No, they will
They
not.
will fine you,
Yes, they will
and
fine
then they
me.
will confiscate your property.
Okay.
And if you don't, you resist,
That
you
is-
try to prevent
no,
them
no, no,
from
no,
taking your property, they will use force. That's why they
Actually-
have a marshal there.
Actually, you
When
don't
they
know tax
embargo,
laws very
Talking
well.
about martial law. Is that what-
No.
when there's a marshal there he has a gun
That's coming.
in case you resist.
Except,
And if you don't
half the
pay the
people in
fine,
this room have a gun. Are they doing it because
No,
I might
no, they-
resist?
I just
No.
joined the NRA, for God's sake. And
must
guess
run.
what? I'm a first-time shooter. You know what my score was, Rick?
What?
In '86.
That's good.
First time.
great.
That's good.
In
See,
'86.
It's-
So
it
you know
comes
what
naturally.
she said to me? She just,
So,
that's
are
exactly
you gonna
what she
answer
said.
this
Help me,
question?
help me. This guy's ripping me up, man.
So here's that
I'm
issue.
here to
Should
help.
you initiate? Is it morally wrong to initiate force? That's the question. Is it morally wrong to initiate physical force?
I don't buy your premise of physical force. Let me, wait, don't
I
answer.
mean-
Don't respond.
okay,
Give
go
me a
ahead.
chance to
Okay.
respond. If I file my tax return, big distinction here. If I file versus not filing.
Uh-huh.
If I don't file, it's fraud. They can put me in jail. That's
Right.
physical force.
And if you
I
file
my-
fraudulent or you refuse
Well,
to
no.
pay,
If I file my tax return and I refuse to pay what I owe,
right?
all they can do is charge me interest on that debt, and they can penalize me, not put me in jail. In fact, they can never put me in jail for that if I file. What they
if you
can do
if you don't
is
pay
they-
the fine
if
and
I-
you resist paying the fine?
they can attach my bank account. They can't get to my property because in almost every state the property is protected by homestead.
You know what they can do if you don't file taxes?
What?
They can make you the Secretary of the Treasury.
Only if you teach
Okay.
at NYU.
Rick, let's end it on that note.
Pleasure.
you
That's
you will
fine.
soon be the Secretary of your Treasury.
No, I
hope.
won't. Trust me. Trust me. That's never happening.
You're no longer
No.
And I do pay my taxes. A lot.
Oh, okay, no problem.
A lot.